This is David DArcangelo. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host tonight. I have the pleasure of introducing Jim Poole, the CEO of Solus Life Sciences, the parent of NuCalm. Jim, welcome to the program.
Well, David, nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Jim, before we get started, with NuCalm, it's allowed us to go around the world, xosialX, powered by NuCalm, because now in over 100 countries, we have credit card processing and we're doing it. It's absolutely exciting. People are ecstatic. And the pricing and value proposition of NuCalm is unlike anything I've ever seen. So welcome, Jim. I'm going to let you say hello to the people around the world, and then we'll get started.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. David, it warms my heart to know that we can help humans all over the world. I've been doing this for 17 years, and I've met a lot of people. And I haven't met anybody who doesn't deserve to be liberated from stress and get a good night's rest. And it doesn't matter who you are. So the more the merrier. And it's a really fun opportunity to have the integrity, honor, nobility to go out and solve real problems for humans and make a business while you're doing it. So it's a win-win for everybody, and it's thrilling for all of us. Our team's excited, you're excited, xosialX is excited. The people in countries that don't have access to technologies come out of America with this ease. I mean, it's a good time to be alive, brother.
Why did you develop the stress test, Jim? Let's start there.
Well, really out of necessity in some of the conventional thought patterns that were happening for consumerism. You know, back in the day when we were kids, we kind of relied on our intuition. I knew if I didn't sleep well. I didn't need a gizmo or a gadget to say, hey, you didn't sleep well. But as time has passed and we've evolved, or maybe devolved a little bit, we've started to rely on gizmos and gadgets to give us a quantified measurement of maybe what we thought was placebo, or we start losing the faith in our intuition. Yeah. I'm not a big person who believes in gizmos and gadgets. I'd prefer self-awareness, intuition, and rely on my gut. So I don't have any gizmos and gadgets, but I'm an outlier. So if consumers are running to this new paradigm, well, we need to kind of acquiesce to consumer demand. But I will tell you a few things, and we'll get into a little bit deeper. The consumer drives product development for manufacturers. We live in an ecosystem of capitalism. So if I create something that's too complicated or too sophisticated or too difficult to use, it's not going to render any market success. So today's gizmos and gadgets, the Oura Ring, the Whoop, the Garmin, the Fitbit, the Apple Watch, we are sacrificing accuracy for convenience. And why I say that is because we're a neuroscience company with an expertise in science. So in 2011, 12, 13, 14, when we were doing our first studies with our medical advisory board, and we were studying stage 4 cancer versus Chicago Blackhawks, learning from the extremes, learning quantified medical grade sensitive and accurate heart rate variability, which is a measurement of the balance of your nervous system, where you're looking at sympathovagal balance. Sympatho, so sympathetic nervous system, vagal balance. Vagal activation raises the parasympathetic. It's an equation. The numerator is your sympathetic nervous system, and the denominator is your parasympathetic. But to do that, this was 15 years ago. There was no Oura Ring. There was no Apple Watch. You had to take your shirt off and put a single lead ECG device affixed to your heart. We were capturing real-time data right from the source, your heart. Wow. And you'd sit there for 5 minutes. You'd probably be thinking, why am I sitting shirtless with a device on my heart? And then you do NuCalm for the duration of whatever it was, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. And then for 5 minutes afterwards, you do it. Then we would take that device off the person, the subject, and we would take the data, put it through our hard drive, send it to Harvard Medical School, where the leading statistical biophysicist and mathematician, Norton Huang and Dr. Chung Kang Pang, took our data, millions of data points from one subject, from one experience, and pushed it through what's called the Hilbert-Huang transform algorithm. Algorithms developed for the NASA space shuttle. So we're taking nonlinear millions of data points to express it through this functional algorithm to determine the level of specificity of the nervous system health of that human. If this sounds complicated, because it is complicated. So that is true measurement of heart rate variability. A ring on your finger, anyone who's studied in physiology would know, it's impossible for me to get an accurate measurement of my heart from my finger. It's so ridiculous, it's comical, but consumers don't care. So I'll take a trend line and get me in the vicinity of the town, but don't get me to the driveway of my destination. I'm fine with that. Trends are great. So why did we develop the stress test? NuCalm works. Anybody who's ever tried it has never had anything different to say. Nobody gets up from NuCalm and says, that doesn't work. And if they do, you have one simple question to ask. How much time do you think you were in there? And they'll say, I don't know, 15 minutes. And you'll say, well, interestingly enough, it's been 46 minutes and you snored the whole time. What? So we know the system works. We've lost faith and belief in our intuition because we've been duped and fooled so many times by millions of companies over our lifetime. So it's like scar tissue builds up. So the stress test is fascinating science. As a neuroscience company, we have an intellectual curiosity and we default to curious things. Audio physics and understanding analysis of frequency has been around for decades, and people started to get kind of akin to it with Alexa. Hey, you mean I can talk to this device and it'll order from Amazon, or I can tell it to play Frank Sinatra and it does it? So we're starting to hear it's learning. Then we see Siri, it's learning. Well, what if you could take voice and actually use it for demonstrative good purposes, such as analysis? So we developed this over a decade process. And we've gone through several different physicists and a lot of different work to figure this out. You can have the theory, you can have the ideation, you can have the technical specs, but the proof is in the pudding, and the specificity of what we're always looking for has always focused on the nervous system. So we found a brilliant scientist to help us along the way, and for a decade we've been working hand in hand, and it's really, really fun. And why is it fun? Well, we've closed the loop. NuCalm in 2015 is awarded this incredible patent, the only system and method to balance and maintain the health of the human autonomic nervous system. It's never been done before. We did it. That was 11 years ago. Now we've developed a stress test which gives you an accurate measurement in real time of your nervous system. So you don't need to rely on us. You don't need to rely on the special forces and the FedEx pilots unit and professional athletes and all the people we aspire to be like. You don't have to rely on anybody else's intuition or your own. You rely on the data right there. So we have closed the loop and really created an ecosystem that's so powerful. It allows you the visibility and assessment of where you're at, but then you can see the impact NuCalm has in rescue on the daily. Every time you use it, you can see the inflection point of your score growing. But I think the coolest part that I've noticed, and you're probably noticing it too, David, the cumulative benefit of balancing your nervous system every day means that there will be days in my life where there's a lot of stress coming at me. Now, if I didn't have that resilience, I'd break down a lot faster. But I can do the stress test that day. I could have the worst day of the week or worst day of the month, but I can't get below like a 91 because I've built up that resilience piggy bank. So that is why this came to be. It wasn't, hey, let's do this. This is cool. It was more, hey, consumers are moving in a direction. Let's follow it, but let's take a parallel path and actually bring medical grade, sensitive, and accurate measurement tools because we're a science company. Let's stay honorable to science.
So how does it compare to some of the other competitors out there?
There is no competition out there today. there can be competition. It's all built in the algorithms and the determination of the metrics that you actually look at. So in a 35-second voice scan, so for those of you who haven't really tried it yet, first of all, you're missing out on something really cool. Secondly, it's really easy. So you hit stress test, and you're going to speak extemporaneously into this phone. We want it about 6 inches away from your mouth and not directly, because spit and interference and artifacts can get in the way. So a little to the side. And interestingly enough, David, if you think about something emotional, it affects the score. If you try to read something, it disables your nervous system, it affects the score. So really, you want to speak extemporaneously in like minutia. You want to describe your environment with great detail. Okay, so 35 seconds. That 35 seconds allows us to pull over 1 million data points of your voice. We're looking for inflection, pauses, tonality, pitch, frequency, outliers. Then that data, we extract about 10,000 biometrics specific to the autonomic nervous system. So now we're digging in. So say you've got Indiana Jones and you're looking for the Ark. Well, you're in the tomb and there's a lot of things you can look at. Well, we're looking specifically at the autonomic nervous system. So there are companies that would have the skill set and capacity to figure it out. It just takes a while. It's taken us 10 years to refine this and then test this and build the database. So in those 10,000 biometrics, what we're doing is we're really focusing on the vagus nerve and the autonomic nervous system. Well, here's where science gets fun for us. The autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve are all connected. The vagus nerve is the communication pathway of your autonomic nervous system. So your sympathetic tone and your parasympathetic tone, all is the highway there. The vagus nerve innervates the brainstem and goes through your visceral organs. It's the longest nerve in the body. But the vagus nerve is connected to your voice through the laryngeal nerve. So when you speak into this, your words can lie, but your voice can't. You can't trick the system. So, we've got really smart people that are doing this. Yeah. And a smart person called me and says, Jim, can I trick the stress test? And I said, that's a great question. And I would guess that maybe you could if you had any idea what we were measuring. But you don't know the 10,000 data points we're measuring. Therefore, it's hard to trick what you don't even know we're doing. So I suspect that's not the case. I've seen it myself. So in the morning, if I've worked too hard or traveled and my voice sounds like Barry White, you would think my score is different, but it's not, because it's not that. There's so many variations to it. But when you think about it this way, think frequency and distortion. So think there's a frequency pattern, and at one point you hit something and you become an outlier. What we're looking for are the outliers, and then the outliers reduce the score. So we've created a score we call a coherence score. Coherence, as in the connective tissue from your brain and your heart and your lungs, and a coherence of your physiology. And it's 0 to 100, and it's red light, yellow light, green light. And the higher the score, the higher the balance of your nervous system. There are a couple nuances here. Females are typically going to score a little lower than males because of the frequency range. Males and females, when we're born, we have the same frequency range. And then men go through puberty, we drop an octave. So the physics picks up that octave first. So females are going to score a little lower. Don't be frustrated with it. It's all relative. And you're going to score this score. What's cool about this, David, is it's not exclusive to NuCalm. You can do a before and after of anything. You like to mountain bike. You can see, hey, I wonder what this does for my nervous system. Because fatigue will be involved, and breath will be involved, and oxygen, and whatever. Or you can do it before and after you walk on the beach. You can do it before and after you have a conflict resolution solution with an employee or something. You can do it through anything. I was on the phone with someone who I really enjoy, and he said, Jim, something really weird happened. I did a NuCalm stress test. I scored like a 91. Then I had this really weird phone call, and I didn't like the person. And I got off and just out of curiosity did the stress test again, and I scored a 61. I was like, wow. That is impressive destruction of your nervous system through one interaction with a friend.
Yeah,
So
Jim, I think what we're all learning here, and I thought I knew a lot. I wrote the book, right? NuCalm, Your Unfair Advantage, and I'm getting an education. But it's just amazing that that goes into that score. Everybody out there is like me. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really. I gotta start really doing this every day. I saw one thing in the book, the NuCalm, Your Unfair Advantage, and it's really, really compelling. So I wanna just so people realize what we have. It's page 39, introducing the stress assessment. NuCalm is in this stress test the world's first precise measurement of your nervous system health, balance, resilience, powered by voice analysis technology. It's the world's first precise measurement. It isn't just some hunky-dory thing, or you're going to put it on your finger or whatever. It's amazing technology. So what do you have to say? What did that entail?
well, you could, if you wanted, and I wouldn't suspect anybody wants to, you can go to your doctor tomorrow. You can fast tonight, and you can have blood drawn. You can go and have a CAT scan. You can have a PET scan. You can have an MRI. You can have an fMRI. You can do a stool sample. You can do a stress test, and you can do a urine sample. You can collect all that information, collate it into a score, and it still won't be as accurate as a 35-second measurement of your voice. So to me, it's profound. But we're pioneers, David. Everything we do is profound, and everything we do is meticulously designed, and we're hasty in nothing. It took us 11 years to bring this to market. That's a long time. It took us 9 years to invent deepest sleep. That's a long time. It took us 19 years to invent rescue. That's a long time. But when we come, there's a reason there's such a predictable and reliable measurement system and a predictable and reliable technology in NuCalm. We cut no corners because the brain won't allow you to cut corners. The brain is really good at cutting corners. You can't cut corners when you're trying to manage the brain. And in the stress test, it's the same vein. I wouldn't call us erudite, but we hold ourselves to a standard of scientific methodology that's important to us. And that has held true, and we've been steadfast to that for a long time. So yes, these things are new. New doesn't mean magic. New doesn't mean anything but new. That's it.
How often should people do the test?
Well, out of curiosity, I think it's important for people to figure out, we all need to know the things that help our nervous system. It's like doing a glucose monitor.
Right.
Everybody methylates different things differently. So I would like to know what impacts my nervous system balance, whether it's reading, taking a walk, it doesn't matter. So there's curiosity there. Definitely at a minimum, I want to do this before and after rescue for a week straight to really understand the impact that this has in a dramatic fashion. And there's a couple things to pay attention to. When you do rescue, especially the new vagal tone VT experiences, when you're done, because it's resonance vibration, there's still a lot of integration on your cell level happening for like 30 minutes to an hour after that experience. So you can actually wait an hour after rescue and do the stress test. But because it's in your hand and you just did NuCalm, but before and after, every day for a week, just to get an understanding. But you can also start to see the cumulative improvement. But then in addition to other things, whether it's walking, meditation, doing lymphatic drainage, vibration plates, it doesn't matter. Just out of curiosity, I would like to know what impacts my nervous system and what doesn't. And then over time, you'll start seeing trend lines. And to me, the coolest thing is to see the cumulative benefit of balancing your nervous system and the consistency of the score. The highest score I've seen or been told was a 96 from a monk-like meditator, and that impressed me. And I was envious, and I'm not going to get there. 93 is the highest score I've seen, but I don't seem to get below 89, and I travel, 300 days a year. So I push my nervous system hard, And I rely on NuCalm as a tool to keep me not only resilient. Resilience is really important. Resilient means that when I'm pushed to the limit, I have some backup in the tank. I want to lean towards anti-fragility. I want to lean towards resilient as my baseline and allow me the capacity to achieve even when I'm fatigued emotionally, physically, and mentally.
Yeah, geez, amazing. Do you remember the day that I asked you, I called you up and I said, Jim, is this cumulative? Because cumulative to me means I'm invested in myself, and it motivated me more to use the protocol. I mean, when you do the stress test, it also gives you the protocol. It gives you, hey, David, you need to do, deepest sleep plus every night, rescue in the afternoon, and power nap 3 days a week or something. I mean, that's literally directional. It's absolutely amazing. And you get cumulatively better and more predictable with it.
I remember every cathartic moment you've had because you're intellectually curious, you have a lot of self-awareness, and you value the integrity of your body. But you're a slow learner because you're very well adapted and you're well adjusted. So you weren't coming to NuCalm as a sufferer. You would have had those cathartic moments a lot faster because you'd have done a lot more.
Mhm.
So it's been fun to see, oh, okay, now he's here. Now he's here. The cumulative benefit is so profound. And it's really just simply asking yourself the question, do I want to live a long life? And in this long life, do I want it to be a quality life? Because if it's a quality life, the foundation to all health begins with your nervous system. The foundation for life begins with your brainwave frequency. Our product and our technology and our expertise lies in both. We went right to the source of life and right to the source of health. If you balance your nervous system, everything is better. Your resilience, your ability to stave off disease, your ability to sleep well, restore, recover, your ability to have emotional balance, to have good interpersonal relationships, to be patient, present, be an active listener, all the things that are good about humanity are at your disposal when you're in balance. Nothing is available when you're not in balance. Nobody that we've met in 17 years of millions of experiences is in balance. Nobody. And I'm talking about monks. I spoke to a monk earlier today. I love speaking to monks. They love NuCalm. That's a challenge for me to really understand. Why do you love NuCalm? Well, they're meditative experts. They understand brainwave frequency. And if they can facilitate the arc and get to the great creative meditation faster, they're going to take advantage of it. So,
Wow.
of all the things out there, there's one thing you can do to live the best life is to balance your nervous system. And earlier today, David, you and I were speaking. I said, I'm really keen on this philosophy of slow being the new fast. And it's oxymoronic for the American culture because we're foot on the accelerator, to-do list, and go, 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 go at what cost? The cost of longevity, resilience, and a good quality life. But what we don't realize is slow, as in a balanced nervous system, leads to faster sleep. Slow leads to faster thinking. Slow leads to faster productivity. When we're fast, we're overwhelmed, we're distracted, we're agitated, we're impatient, we're confused. We don't get it. We created this zeitgeist in the American culture that's actually pervading the world, and our contribution to the world today is a pace that leads to a heart attack, food supply that's poison, and Western medicine that's pushing pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's like, that's our contribution to the world? We can do better than that. But really, pull the plug, man. Slow down. Because when you slow down and you're in balance, the clarity that you have, the decision making that you have, you're not second guessing, you're relying on your intuition, you're more able to observe everything. You've known me for a long time, David, and I'm a busy, busy man, but you've never seen me stressed out because I'm impregnable to it. Why? Because slow is the new fast. Because if I stay in this state, I've been in my office since 6 this morning. I had 3 successive calls with doctors and insurance companies in India at 6 this morning, and it's 15 hours later. Do I look tired? No. So The cumulative benefit, and understand it's weird, but we need to figure this out. If we invest 20 or 30 minutes a day in our nervous system, it repays us in 10 hours of clarity, high performance, function. And I can tell you personally, anecdotally, I'm such a better father than I ever was.
Yeah.
And I'm a
Wow.
better man than I ever was. And I'm a better husband than I ever was. Because when I'm not working, I'm not trapped in my head. I'm not solving any work problems. I'm present with my family. And for years before NuCalm, I was never present. I was always trapped in here.
Right.
And I remember many times, my kids are young, I've got 3 daughters, and I remember, I can think about it right now in my mind's eye, hearing my daughter Maddie saying, Daddy, 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 like 7 times. I'm right in front of her.
Wow.
She's right there, and I'm
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
And the difference today is I am always there.
Yeah.
I'm not anywhere else. And that is a gift that I wish I had 17 years ago. So the cumulative benefit of balancing your nervous system changes your life, not just the health and the wellness and the longevity and the resilience. It changes who you are as a person. And it allows me and you and everybody else to become a participant in your daily life and not a spectator. And everybody on this call knows what I'm talking about.
Everybody on this call around the world is just sitting back now. Your brain it's listening and replaying what you just said because it was so impactful. You have to like break that one down in your head to realize, and we're here. We're the exclusive networking distribution arm of NuCalm. So everybody out there, and in closing, Jim, you can let people know is how special is this place and time with NuCalm and in joining forces with xosialX.
This is the best time ever to be alive. There's a lot of things against humanity's success and evolution right now. But this is a foundational piece to our future. And the opportunity to ask anybody in the world, are you sleeping well? You already know the answer. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed? You already know the answer. And give them the gift of something so easy that they simply need a mobile device and a headphone. This opportunity, sometimes you luck out and sometimes all the hard work comes to an intersection. And it's you, David, that found this opportunity and connected the dots. And you deserve a lot of credit for that. So bringing you and Stu and Chantel and the team to us, we're the best in the world at solving complex human problems with neuroscience. There's nothing like what we do. And you are the best in the world at understanding, inspiring, persuading, and educating, and allowing adults to take their own decision. I don't believe in imploring and selling anybody anything. I do believe in educating and sharing with them the possibilities of what is available to you. Because for more than 100 years, we've been marketed by the pharmaceutical industry to hold out our hand. We don't even ask what's in it. We don't even ask what the contraindications are. We don't say, hey, did you know I'm also on 9 other medications? Are they contraindicated with any of those? We're so marketed to this, hold out my hand, and this is going to solve my problem. But it doesn't. We will solve your problem, and it's cool, and it's easy, and it's safe. So I know it seems like, wow, this seems too good to be true. For 17 years, I've witnessed this. And you don't get to do the cool things we do. 2 weeks ago, I did a keynote at the Consortium for the Guardians of the Defenders in Kiev, Ukraine. Who gets to do that? Next week, I'm doing a keynote on a mega yacht in Monaco for the F1 Grand Prix. Who gets to do that? Today, I have a team at the FBI National Academy training the FBI. So all these things we're doing are real because the technology is real. And you have an opportunity at xosialX to literally build an empire where you're serving humanity and helping liberate humans from stress. It doesn't get better than this. This is it. We've hit the pinnacle.
Remember this place and time, everybody. Remember this conversation. You'll have this video to play and replay or cut up however you want. Just let us know. Jim, I want to say, thank you very much. It's a phenomenal relationship. The cumulative effect allow just stays on my mind because we all want to be operate closest to our peak mental and physical gifts. And this, your cumulative answer to my cumulative question makes it all possible. So thank you very much. And everybody out there around the world, thank you for being part of the team. Let's go share it with the world. Thank you, everybody.